All right, what is going on, everybody? On the day that I'm filming this, it is New Year's Eve, so that by the day that you are seeing this, Happy New Year's. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the weekend, enjoyed the holiday season. I know for me, for Mia, Tamisha, the rest of the coaches, it's been nice to have a little bit of time off, so thank you for understanding that and giving that to us. Hopefully you were able to get some good workouts in if you came in for open gym. And lastly, hopefully you guys had a great 2022. I think for a lot of people, it was a year of growth, and hopefully 2023 is a year for just as much growth. We are conveniently, it's almost as if we planned this, at the end of a 4-week programming block come this past Friday. So starting Monday, we are moving on to cycle 14. Cycle 13, we had front squats working up to a 5-rep max. We had dumbbell bench press, learning the movement, getting the movement mechanics, down pat. We also had a barbell strict press. And then lastly, we continued our progression with overhead squats. Cycle 12, we introduced overhead squats. Cycle 13, we started to get a little bit more comfortable with the movement, started to get more comfortable with dumbbells and barbells overhead. And as we move on to cycle 14, we're gonna continue to work with the overhead squats. All right, so this will now be, by the end of this cycle, 12 weeks that we've been working with overhead squats. So with that movement, the emphasis in cycle 14 is on actually starting to build strength and confidence with that movement. We've had 8 weeks to get the movement mechanics down, to increase and improve our mobility. So now that we have those mechanics down, we can start to add some weight and properly periodize that movement so that we can see some strength gains in that movement over the 4 weeks. All right, in addition to that, we're gonna be moving back to back squats. And in this cycle, we're actually gonna be doing some pause back squats. The goal of pause back squats is to increase our positional strength. And with the back squats, the goal, and there is, I don't want to say controversy, but there's different schools of thought when it comes to the depth of a back squat. For me, I am all about, and the MXT program is all about, increasing and improving our functional movement. So we want to be able to find whatever the lowest depth back squat is that we can achieve right now. If that's at parallel, awesome. If it's below parallel, even better. If it's above parallel, awesome. All right, the goal is going to be to get it to parallel by the end of this cycle by performing a pause at the bottom of every rep of our back squat in this cycle. We are going to periodize that movement as well. So we're going to complete those pause reps. We're going to build strength in that pause back squat across the 4 weeks. We're going to progress the strict press that we did in cycle 13 and move on to a barbell push press. We've done these before, but never in a truly periodized manner as a strength movement. So we'll be doing that. And then lastly, we're going to be progressing that dumbbell bench press into a barbell bench press. Now that we have some of the mechanics down, we're going to learn the mechanics of the barbell, start to gain a little bit more confidence just with the movement of that. And then the following cycle, we'll start to periodize some strength and see some strength gains in the bench press as well. All right, so those are the 4 movements for cycle 14. We have the overhead squat, building strength and confidence in that movement. We have the push press, increasing and improving our mechanics with that movement before we start to build some true strength with that movement. We have a pause back squat, building confidence in the bottom of our squat position and increasing our mobility and finding where our depth is in that squat. And lastly, we have that barbell bench press. All right, so those are the 4 movements. The last thing I want to touch on that we will be talking about, and coaches talk about it in class a decent amount, but I want to spend some time on this video talking about the different timing intervals that we have at each of our stations. There are 5 different stimulus that we look to achieve in our stations. And those are the big names at the top of each of the screens in the gym. All right, we have our sprint stations, our pace stations, our breathe stations, our shred stations, our pump stations, and our build stations. All right, the pump and the build are our strength. The pace, sprint, breathe are our conditioning, and shred is a combination of core and conditioning. All right, within those 6, there's different ways that we get you into the desired stimulus of that particular type of workout. All right, and we do that by the way that we program time intervals into those stations. So you'll see different names. We have burnout, we have heads down, we have clockwork, we have beat the clock. All of those, while they are fun and unique names that keep the workouts interesting, and it's not the same time format every time, the true purpose of those different time domains is to allow you to get into and achieve the desired stimulus of that station without having to actually think about it yourself. Let's take a build station, for example. The purpose of a build station is to improve our strength. It's a strength-based station. All right. Oftentimes, you'll see two different time domains, clockwork or heads down. In the clockwork instance, we'll have X amount of rounds, typically 4 rounds, and you'll have usually 2 minutes to complete the strength movements within that build station. All right, so with the build station, we don't want our heart rate to get super high, and we want to have enough rest time to bring our heart rate back down to ideally resting before we hit our next set. And that's exactly what that time domain does. Usually the work takes between 45 seconds and 1 minute and 15 seconds to get those strength movements done, which means you have about 45 seconds to bring your heart rate down so you're fully recovered to hit the next set with equally as much intensity. All right, if we contrast that with a sprint station or a breathe station, we work in different time domains to allow us to change, to create some variability in your heart rate so that you're truly achieving the desired stimulus of that station. All right, the way we program in here isn't by splitting body parts up by days. Within each day, you have 4 stations, and there are different desired stimulus of those stations each day. All right, that's how we program the workouts, and the way that we get you to achieve the desired stimulus of each of those stations is through those different time intervals. Hopefully this video was helpful in understanding that or furthering your understanding of the program and of the rationale with the MXT program. If you have additional questions, always ask a coach. Feel free to reach out. Love talking about this. As you can tell, it fires me up and I like to geek out about it a little bit. So please feel free to ask questions. Always open to having a conversation about this. 2023 is going to be an awesome year, another year for a ton of growth, a ton of progress, not just in the gym, but outside the gym as well. So get after it, keep working hard, and we're looking forward to seeing you in class.